Call the meeting to order. This is January 3rd, the Lee Select Board meeting. We're reconvening into open session, our first order of business. We have a couple sets of minutes here. So I'd entertain a motion for approval of these minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I'd make a motion that we approve the open session minutes from December 20th, 2022 and December 22nd, 2022.
I will second that.
Motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Our next order of business, public comment. Do we have any public comments at this point in time? If there's anybody on Zoom who'd like to speak, please raise your hand. Maybe Kathy can't hear us. All right. Well, if she comes back around and wants to say something, maybe I'll entertain her at that point. Seeing no public comments at this point, we'll move into general business. Our first order of business, we have an update from the school committee. Superintendent Richard, come on up.
Thank you, members of the Select Board. I appreciate you having me tonight, and I apologize for the need to reschedule from October, but I appreciate your flexibility. Just a few things to go over with you tonight. As a reminder to the Select Board and anyone who's watching tonight, our school committee meetings are held the second Tuesday of each month, and those are open meetings, so people who may be interested in learning more about the school operations and our sort of everyday or every month business are certainly welcome to join us in those. This past fall, we received MCAS results, and predictably, like many of our counterparts across the state, across the country, we saw negative impacts from the COVID-19 pandemic. We are working to target the learning loss that happened and continue to work with students and families to address that learning loss. I see it firsthand on a daily basis since the Thanksgiving break. I've been teaching a 7th grade math class, and so I'm seeing, being able to actually experience that every day, and so I can empathize and sympathize with families and faculty and staff who have been dealing with this very difficult situation for the last couple of years. But we're working hard. We've got plans. We will implement those plans and make sure that we set our students up well for success beyond the Lee Public Schools. Regarding the FY23 budget, that's our current year budget, we are in good shape. We appreciate the support that the town gave us at town meeting last year. Our projections were very good, so we are in solid shape, and we look forward to hopefully not having to come before you to ask for any of that sped reserve money. We've been very careful with our spending this year, and hopefully we won't need to access that funding that was set aside. We did implement this year new math materials. We used ESSER 3 funds to purchase new math materials, not to be confused with math curriculum. We still have a curriculum that predates the new math materials, but those math materials are designed to help us accelerate learning for our students and to get us up to speed and make sure that our students are learning the way that they're going to continue to learn, again, beyond their public school experience. Similarly, we are piloting or going to begin to pilot new English language arts materials. Again, not new curriculum, but materials that will supplement and complement the curriculum that exists. We did get notification today that there is a grant through the state that we will be applying for, I expect, that will allow us to offset some of the costs of materials. So if we can recover some of the budgeted expenses for these ELA materials as part of ESSER 3 monies, then hopefully we could repurpose that money to expand the scope of our grant services. Enrollment, we've got, as of January 1st, 643 students in the Lee Public Schools. There are 153 of those students are school choice, coming to us from surrounding communities, as far away as West Springfield and as close to us as Lenox. So we've got lots of students. We also have 44 of those students being tuitioned students. Those are students who come to us from Tyringham and the Farmington River Regional School District. We are holding pretty steady, but we continue to explore ways that we can make an aggressive run at getting more school choice students, making sure that we can create programming that will be enticing to families and surrounding communities to encourage them to join the Lee Public Schools. We'll keep you updated on efforts there. The FY24 budget predictions, we're working on finalizing a budget to be able to present to the school committee. We have a 2.5% increase for bargaining units. That's basically what was agreed to for those bargaining units across the board for FY24. And we do not expect much in the way of attrition in terms of faculty or staff retirements this year. Looking at next year, there may be 2, potentially 3 staff who may be retiring at the end of the year, where we can hopefully realize some cost savings. Athletics and extracurricular activities are going full force. Matter of fact, when I left my office a few minutes ago, the girls' basketball team was facing off with Pope Francis. So they've made the trip to visit us from Springfield. And the girls and the boys are very much enjoying their experiences. And of course, we do have some students who are going out to co-op programs with other schools for winter sports. The capital updates. The playground and the gym, the LMHS gym is complete, and thanks to the building department for their support and helping us to get all the approvals in place. It really looks outstanding. And if you haven't had a chance to get up there, either contact me if you'd like a personal tour, or stop by any basketball game this winter and check it out. The gym looks amazing. And the playground has had a lot of work done as well. All of the curbing has been put into place. And you can notice that we call it Mount Meyer. That is in the parking lot at LMHS. All the wood chips, the fabricated wood chips that will be laid down, they started to put it down, and then Mother Nature didn't cooperate. But as soon as this weather dries up a little bit, we're going to get the rest of those wood chips put down. I want to thank the LYA for their generous donation to getting that project done. They gave us $10,000 towards the wood chip installation. There are some requirements that are in place because of the early childhood nature of what they do. So we could, if it weren't for us cooperatively working with LYA, we could get away with fewer chips. We feel like it's much safer with that. I think it's a 9-inch minimum depth for child and community safety. Other capital projects, just for you, forward thinking, things that are going to be coming up on us, some more sooner than later. But we're looking to update the HVAC systems in the schools. We're awaiting some notification on some grant applications that were put out that we hope can help offset some costs. We need to replace one of the trucks that's being used by our facilities department. We need to update the network switches and wireless access points that keep us alive at the schools. And those systems have exceeded their useful life. So we are hoping that we can stretch them out as long as we can, but that clock is ticking quickly. And then 2 last projects that have a couple of years to go, I think, before we need to act on them, though. The roofs at both schools are at 20 years. And so they're, again, end of life expectancy. And probably the blacktop will need to be done as well for 23 Chief Russo Way and potentially the parking lot at LMHS. So those are, I understand, those are big expenses, but I want to make sure that those are on your radar. I've communicated those projects to Mr. Britton to make sure that he's aware as well. But I think we're in good shape. So I tried to give it to you in a bit of a nutshell there, but I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have, or concerns or questions.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Gordon, do you want to?
Sure, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Sure, just a couple of questions. I know you said you have a 2.5% bargained. When are all of your groups, contracts, all that kind of stuff, all in the same renewal cycles, or are you staggered?
They are. No, they are all on one cycle.
That's good.
So they've all
Okay.
been signed off, again, for the same percentages for the next 2 years.
That's what I was wondering, when the end of the contract was, so that when do you start renegotiations, like a year ahead of time?
Yeah, so we'll
Okay.
begin contract negotiations hopefully sometime at the end of next year.
Sure.
Getting ready to give us a year to negotiate so that we're ready to roll for fiscal '25.
Okay, all right. And do you have any kind of ballpark projection yet on what you think is going to happen with next year's budget when we go to town meeting, or is it too preliminary at this
Sure,
moment?
it probably is a little bit early,
okay.
but I'm looking at, it might be somewhere around 5.5%, but I have not, I haven't brought that to the committee for their review, nor have I gone over that with our business administrator to make sure that we do indeed sharpen these pencils as much as we can, make sure that we're not asking for anything that we don't need.
Okay. And I don't remember, but at town meeting, do you usually have separate articles for things like the truck or whatever, or are they all wrapped into the school budget?
So historically, the capital expenses have been done since I've been here as sort of an omnibus approach.
Separately?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I just couldn't remember.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
But we did all capital in one article, but the school was a one contribution.
Right.
So it was not specified, except for last year, we did two, a general fund contribution, and then the bleachers were their own separate article.
right.
on there. But
Okay. How many seats did you actually lose when you went to redid the bleachers? Did anybody ever calculate the loss?
I'm sorry that Mr. Bailey, I don't know. We
Okay.
did lose some.
Yes, I know you do. Yeah.
But I think that the value that we gained is more than balances off the lost
Great.
capacity.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Those are my only questions at the moment. Thank you.
Bob, you have anything you want to ask?
I have one question more out of curiosity than anything else. I think you mentioned you have about 158 school choice students. Is that a high percentage for a school district, or average, low percentage? It seems like a lot to me.
It is a lot. It's about a quarter of our students. I think our neighbors in Lenox take in about 40% of their school enrollment through school choice. But it is, the issue, we use the term cannibalization out here in the Berkshires, and that all school districts are going after each other's community members and trying to be appealing, because it's the nature of survival. If we lost 50 of these kids, we would be in a very, very difficult position in the Lee Public Schools. So we try to make sure that our schools remain an appealing place for families. Again, many families are willing to travel. Oftentimes decisions aren't made on the quality of the school system, but proximity to employment destinations. So we're working hard, but it is 143 school choice and then 44 tuition students.
I think that it's commendable that so many people want their kids to go to Lee School. I think it's a reflection on the school itself and the staff.
Absolutely. We're very proud of that number, and again, we hope to continue to increase that number.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chairman, can I follow up? Yeah, thank you. A couple of quick questions. If you could update the people at home and whatnot, and us. Exactly what kind of outsourcing are you doing with kids in other school systems, like carpentry programs, cooking programs? What exactly do we have kids going to other schools to help,
Yeah, so
or
students,
them coming to us?
yeah, so they won't come to us for the trades. We need to send them to Chapter 74 programs. So they could go to Taconic, and they could go to other Chapter 74 programs, which could include the Westfield Academy in Westfield. It could include the Lower Pioneer Valley Educational Collaborative in West Springfield. It could include Smith Voc in Northampton. But
Nothing else here in Pittsburgh other than
McCann, potentially McCann.
Okay.
And so we have right now, very limited interest on the part of our students to go to those programs.
Okay.
I've got a bit of interest in seeing if we could expand we have a carpentry program at the high school that I'd love to see if we can make that a bit of a bigger program, and we may attract some additional school choice students there. But we're not losing students to the VOC programs right now.
Okay, good. Thank you very much.
But we want to I do want to make sure that the families at home know that if that's the desire of a student or a family, it's our job to support them and not to deter them, right? As much as we'd love to keep them and educate them, if that's their passion, we need to support them.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Because not everybody's,
Not everyone's cut out.
necessarily going to be going to college or trying to, do certain things. And I think we need to make sure we have a well-rounded educational support system.
Right.
It sounds like you do.
Correct.
Yeah, and actually trade careers pay pretty well.
We need 'em.
And we need them for sure.
There's such a lack of plumbers, like, some of the tradespeople out there. Their companies are begging mechanics,
yeah.
auto mechanics. There really are. I mean, it's just amazing how few students are going those routes. A lot of them have no college debt. They can start making money the minute they graduate. And I know we had talked about joining the school when they have some of their days where they bring people in to explain. I know our police and
Career
fire
days,
come
right.
up, career days. And I think we need to, would love to talk to you more about making sure that all of the town's jobs are listed too. We have a lot of DPW jobs, different things where, we help pay for their training.
Right. I was telling my administrative team this afternoon that I heard an advertisement this morning on the radio that Pathfinder, which is a vocational school down in the valley, they're offering free evening programs for adults to get their various vocational trade diplomas or degrees. And so
That's great.
It's very creative, and we need to continue to find ways to assist our community and give them every opportunity to be successful.
Now, you used to do some adult learning
We still
years
do.
ago, and where, is it just on your website, or how do you make people aware of what's available for adult
Yeah, it's very limited
learners?
right now. Mr. Bailey, it's designed for our English language learner populations
Okay.
in and around town. So it's run through BCC, but we do host it at LMHS. And so there is an opportunity, I think, if we can find interested people that we can engage some evening programs. I'll make a note here to survey the community and see if there's an interest in what those interests are.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You might even want to reach out to our, we have a committee that's looking at long-term planning for the town. I don't know if that's somebody who could partner up with you or not.
Right. Well, we've got school committee representation on that. so-
Okay,
Yep.
good. That's great. Thank you.
Absolutely.
That's all I have.
Excellent. I think, you touched on it earlier, as far as COVID and your plan of attack. Maybe you can expand on that and just give us a little bit more to like how you guys are approaching that
Sure.
difficulty.
So we use some of our ESSER monies to put math and ELA interventionists at the middle and high school. We are looking at how we can potentially repurpose some of that funding to add some additional intervention work at the elementary school, because we know that if students struggle early, their chances of success later are much more difficult. So we're hoping to be able to address some of those things. It's really about continuing to work with small class sizes.
Yeah.
Oftentimes there can be criticism around that, but the benefit is that students are getting much more attention from those certified staff members who are working with them. So between the new ELA and math materials, the math materials which have already secured, the ELA materials which will be, those interventionists, and then summer programming that's engaging and entertaining and enlightening for the kids. We minimize the summer slide between June 15th and August 28th or so.
All right, great.
How long have you been superintendent now?
Wrapping up my third year.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Appreciate all your hard work and everything that you do.
Thank you.
Bob, Gordon, you guys have anything else you want to?
No, I'm good.
And I'm available to you at any time. If you ever have questions, if you want to come and visit, reach out. I'd be happy to.
So where's your office now?
I'm in the middle and high school.
Okay, All right, because I've seen it move to 5 or
Yeah.
6 different
Yeah,
locations
and it may again sometime.
over time. Yeah, okay.
Last time I knew it was in the middle school kind of
It
wing,
is.
right?
It
Yeah,
is,
so it's off to the side there.
If you're looking at it all the way to the left.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Have a great
Thank you for your
evening. I
time.
appreciate you having me tonight.
Thanks.
Sure, thank you very much.
All right, our next order of business, we have one-day alcohol license here for the Lee Fire Company.
Come on up, Ed.
Ed, if there's any, I see our applicant is here. Do you have anything you'd like to say?
No, this is just the same party we have every year after the holidays.
Sure.
All right, excellent. I don't see anything out of order here. I'd entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
All right, I'll second that. Is there any fee or anything that we should be waiving? I don't know.
I believe,
There's no
No
fees.
fees, okay. I just wanted to make sure that we didn't need that as part of the motion, so we're good.
Alrighty.
We're good.
Any further discussion on the alcohol permit? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
thank you very much.
Good enough, Ed. We'll see you later.
See ya.
Next order of business we have here, we have a proposed amendment to our capital outlay committee, and is this, my understanding is this is kind of a result of us moving to open town meeting?
Yeah, it's a bit of a housekeeping issue. I just wanted to bring it to the board now before it got into the warrant, just to see if you had any other thoughts. We could discuss it with the whole group. Pretty simple change, unless you guys have other ideas. The current bylaw says that the capital outlay committee would consist of a town meeting member from each of the representative districts, which we no longer have anymore. So the simple way to change this, we had 6 districts, is to just make that 6 members at large, not grandfathering in the people that are there. So we're not going to kick them out, but moving forward, as we do reappointments and so forth, any
6
open
at
ones
large.
could be just members at large. So unless the board had any other thoughts or ideas on how we might change that, that's what I plan to put forward in the warrant. Again, kind of a housekeeping thing. It didn't get changed when we changed all of the town meeting bylaws. It still does leave 1 member of the Board of Assessors, 1 member of the Finance Committee, and 1 member of the Planning Board for a total of 9 members, so.
Mr. Chairman? One thing I just administratively, it still says the Board of Selectmen. It should get changed to
yep.
Select Board.
Good
Just
catch.
to be correct. Also, is the appointment for a certain duration of time? Do we, phase people 3 years, 4, how does all that go? Because it's not mentioned here, and is it your appointment, or, actually, Finance Committee is the moderator, but this is capital outlay, so
Right.
is this your appointment or board's?
It's a select board appointment. I believe it's a 3-year board. The bylaws don't stipulate how that rotation will
Okay.
be on it. We could add that in there if we wanted. Right now, it's just going based on the terms that they've had, which I don't have right with me, what the members have, but.
Well, I didn't know if it needed to be part of the bylaw, just to think about it. I don't know that it needs to be.
Some of the bylaws have it and some don't. I think
Okay.
it makes it more clear if it is in there I could put a 3-year
I would think it might be
staggered
helpful,
term.
and people can always ask to be reappointed, but, I mean, otherwise it seems incredibly open-ended.
Yeah.
But, maybe that's okay. Anyway, those are my only thoughts. Other than that, I don't have a problem with any
Yeah,
of
we'll
this.
clarify, I'll add that 3-year
Okay.
term in there.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe we can start out by staggering them in.
Most of the new committee bylaws that we've done have had some language like that,
Okay.
so.
Thank you.
So do we want to, should we move on this, or should we come back to it at another meeting?
Well, I mean, this will be in the warrant, so when you sign the warrant, but I just wanted to have this in an open discussion to get any, so there was no surprises when the warrant
So
came
we don't
out.
need to move this to add it to the town meeting?
No, I mean, when
we
you
do
sign
that,
the warrant,
that'll
you'll be
be- it'll be a
approving
part
all
of that.
those,
Okay.
so. But I'll include it in there like that with the 3-year, and we should be good, so.
Bob, I'd defer to you before we move on, if you have anything you want to add.
Yeah, no, I agree with if there are rotating terms, and there are always going to be people with experience sitting on the board, so
Yeah.
I think that's the way to go.
Okay, moving on. There was nothing that came up suddenly, anything before we move on to town administrator report?
I have nothing.
Hear any, Chris? What do you got for us?
So I have no new updates from Rest of River this week, which we kind of expected, that things are slowing down during the winter months. So no report from the EPA to share. We do have, I did leave draft budgets on your desks for you. There's still areas that we're waiting on more details from. We've done estimates for, such as the schools, such as the insurance. We have not gotten the final amounts from Maya, but we put in estimates in there. Finance committee will begin meeting next week, so, next Tuesday, in fact, and we will be meeting every Tuesday almost every Tuesday until we're ready. So, and then the last thing was just that I did also share with you guys the signed legislation. The governor signed today the legislation for our new special act, which was approved at the March town meeting this past year. So that just got signed today, and it should be all good. Copies are on your desk, and we will add that onto the website as well shortly.
Great.
So.
Thank you.
Great. Bob, Gordon?
I have
for you?
nothing, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Our next scheduled meeting is January 17th. With that, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.